Hello, hello. I'm going to jump on live and say hello and give you a bit of an update on where I'm at with this whole bloomin' YouTube journey. So last week, so week past Friday, I had a bit of a wobble. It might have been Thursday actually. I had a bit of a wobble and I was all ready to throw the towel in on YouTube. It was just feeling a little bit too demoralizing. And I posted about how I was feeling. And oh my God, I had such an amazing response. And I actually did an update video the next day because I was so blown away as a bit of a thank you to everybody that had commented on my video. If you pop in, say hello. I'd love to know who's watching. And I just thought I'd come on quickly tonight and do a quick live. I was humming and ahhing whether to do this as an actual video or whether to just come on live. And I decided to come on live. I've got my glass of wine because it's Saturday night. So I thought I'd just chill and yeah, just give you my thoughts really on what's been going on in my head since last week with in relation to YouTube. And I'm glad to say, let me have a quick sip. I'm glad to say I've made the decision to stick around and give this my full attention now and just take a little bit of the pressure off myself to grow and grow and grow and to not worry so much about the numbers. Bizarrely, although I'm not quite so worried about the numbers, I have actually set up a spreadsheet. I am not a spreadsheet kind of girl. Actually, they turned me off completely. But I've been watching another Gen X creator who's not long since been running her channel. And if I can remember her name and say it properly, I think it's Alex Saranoia, I think is how you pronounce her surname. She lives in Finland and she's started her channel a few months ago. Well, I think she's revived an old channel and she's now sort of teaching how to grow your channel. But what's brilliant about her is she's a Gen Xer and she's specifically kind of wanting to help Gen X creators to grow. But because she's still quite new in her journey, she's only a few steps ahead of us. And one of the things I've really kind of been confused by with the whole YouTube thing is all the conflicting advice that we get from the YouTube gurus. And I don't think any of them are wrong. I'm just not certain that they really understand the Gen X market and what we are looking for in the content that we consume. So I've been following her, and she has basically been plotting her analytics from week one. And she's got this sort of spreadsheet set up. Please do say hello. I can see a couple of people watching. So if you're about, just drop a comment below, say hello so I know who's there. And she's got this spreadsheet and she's tracking all the analytics. Now, I've avoided analytics because I don't have a detail-oriented brain. I don't think really in kind of an analytical way. But I think I'm starting to realize that you've got to kind of know the numbers. Hi, Wayne from California. I bet it's warmer out there than it is here. Although we haven't had a bad day today for the UK. It's been about 24 degrees. What's that about? Mid to high 70s. Nice to see you anyway. So yeah, she's got this sort of she's got a spreadsheet that has tracked her numbers week by week. So this week I bit the bullet and created a spreadsheet to catalog. Whoa, that's too hot. 38 degrees. I really struggle when it gets that hot. I've got proper English blood and I like it a bit cooler. California is one place I've never visited. I've been to a few different parts of the US, never been to California. That's on my list of places to visit. So yeah, I've basically started plotting my numbers, and we'll see how it goes. And I've put reminders in my calendar for every Thursday morning to check them, because if I'm not careful, I will get a bit obsessive and I'll be trying to do them every day. And I'm not sure that that's very useful. But if you haven't checked out Alex's channel, I'll put a link to it in the description below this live when I'm finished. She's really, really good. She talks very, very fast though. I struggle a little bit to keep up with her pace, but her the way she explains things is really good if you're looking to kind of get into a YouTube channel, starting a YouTube channel, or if you're just looking for some hints and tips. She's very, very good. So I thought I would just share with you some of the thoughts that I've been having over the last week or so as I've made the decision to, knuckle down, hang in here and give it my best shot. And there's a bit of a trend on YouTube at the minute around new creators sharing how YouTube has changed their lives, even though they've got less than 1,000 subscribers or less than 500 subscribers. And I am currently at 752, I think. And a big amount of that is thanks to my lovely brother who I think felt a bit sorry for me after my wobble last week and created a video to his audience asking them to give me some support, and they very generously came across and subscribed. So I literally went from 599 subscribers up to 730 or so in a day, which is a big jump for me. And I appreciate that a lot of those are, probably not not an audience that I'm going to appeal to, although hopefully some of them will be. Because my brother's channel is all about Micro Four Thirds photography, so I don't know anything about Micro Four Thirds photography. So I'm guessing a lot of those were goodwill subscribers, and regardless, I'm very, very grateful to everybody for taking the time to come and subscribe. And actually, I got some really lovely comments from some of those subscribers. But so yeah, so my thoughts on kind of how things are moving on, and this idea of kind of how it's changed my life. Can I really hand on heart say YouTube has changed my life? I think it probably has. I think it has, but not in that big sort of, wholesale life change way, but it's definitely had some benefits, and it's helping me to do things a bit differently. So I thought I would just share some of those with you. Just let me know in the comments as well. I can see a few people watching. Wayne's in California. Let me know whereabouts you're checking in from, and also let me know if you've got your own channel, and how you're finding your channel growth. I'm really interested to know how many people are sort of consumers of YouTube and how many are actually creators. I'm definitely both. I find that I probably consume more YouTube than I do TV these days. So I guess in that respect, YouTube has definitely changed my life, because I do spend more time um, watching YouTube videos. I kind of watch it for entertainment. I watch it for the news. I use YouTube for sort of how-tos and learning, if I need to learn something. I subscribe to Skillshare, which is a software, it's a platform rather, where you can kind of do a monthly subscription or an annual subscription, and there's access to loads and loads and loads of different courses. But actually, I still go to YouTube first, even before I go to Skillshare that I pay for, which is quite bizarre, really. So I guess, yeah, from that respect, it has changed how I spend my time. But I think probably the biggest way that YouTube and starting to create for YouTube has changed me is it's really given me, I guess, a sense of purpose, which sounds a little bit, um, I don't know, maybe sounds a bit airy-fairy, but it has given me a sense of purpose. It's helped with my business. It's given my content creation for my business a purpose. But it's also I'm kind of semi-retired, so I have got a business, and I do kind of work hard in the business, but because I work for myself and I pick and choose the hours that I work, I feel like I've got more leisure time and more almost sort of semi-retirement time than I did when I was working a 9 to 5 job. And I think there's always a danger as we head towards retirement. I'm 58 now. As we head towards retirement, it can feel a little bit like we're giving up a lot of things with work and maybe don't have any direction or focus for the future. And I think creating on YouTube or creating for YouTube has definitely given me that kind of sense of purpose. I don't know if anybody can relate to this. It's given me a sense of purpose because it takes up a lot of time. There's an awful lot to have to try and learn. There's a lot of things you have to kind of think about all the time when you're talking about sort of ideas for content, learning how to create content. I've never done any of this kind of thing before, so it's all brand new. So learning how to edit videos, learning how to set up the lighting and the cameras, and understanding, what goes into storytelling and all of those sorts of things I'm having to learn. And so in terms of sort of it's like a hobby and my business and like a key interest now. It's kind of it's all encompassing. And I think if I stop and think about it too hard, it feels like this mammoth huge thing. And it does take up a lot of my time and a lot of my brain space. But I think without it, I feel like there might be a bit of a void, there might be something missing, because it does tick so many boxes. So I guess that's the first thing that YouTube has given me that I'm unwilling yet to give up on, is that feeling of actually having some sense of purpose to my days, as well as just my business stuff. And the other thing that I was thinking earlier about this, I went out for lunch today with a friend, and as I was coming back to the car, I sat in the car in the car park, and I realized that I'm much more mindful about situations. I'm much more willing to kind of be in the moment. And why is that anything to do with YouTube? Well, I think it's because I'm always looking for ideas and inspiration for what to create. Um, Hello, beautiful life sage. How are you? It's actually evening here, so we're a little bit later than you. What time is it there for you? Is it Jen? I'm trying to think if I can remember your first name. I think it's Jen. Lovely to see you. I was just talking about how I've decided, with your help, actually, thank you very much, to give this YouTube thing a go and not quit. I'm going to stick with it. And I was just saying, I feel like it's given me a bit of a sense of purpose in my life. And now I was just talking about the fact that I think it's helped me to be more mindful and more present about the moment. I have an ADHD brain, so I'm always all over the place. I always say it feels like I've got 20 computer tabs open at one time. So sometimes focusing on the moment is really difficult because my brain's all over the place. But I'd got out for lunch with a friend. We'd had a mooch around town, and I got back to the car, and I just sat in the car, and it occurred to me that I'm always now thinking about things that happen in my life and how I can create a story, or can I take inspiration from that to create a video that might be of interest to other people? Is there a kind of, I guess, a kind of parable or a moral to everything? Because I think there's always a story in pretty much everything that happens, isn't there, if we look for it? But I think in the past, I've always been a bit guilty of just almost kind of walking through life a little bit with my eyes closed. And I feel now, because I'm always thinking about what I might be able to create, I'm just more mindful of what's going on around me, of how I'm feeling in that moment, of what I'm experiencing. And that for me has really helped to slow my brain down. And I have Notion on my phone, and every time I get a bit of an idea or a bit of an inspiration for something that might, make a video, um, or might be an idea for a video, I get my phone out and I write it in my Notion, and it's worked so well. Um, I can see Richard there. Hi, Richard. I'm pleased you've decided to stick with it. I've been watching Brian's channel for years. Let me just show this so I can read it. Um, I enjoy the opinions from mature individuals. By the way, hello from, I have no idea how to pronounce that. I can pronounce Mexico. Is it Oaxaca? Oaxaca? How do you pronounce that? That's I've never seen that um place name before. But however it is, it's lovely to have you here, and thank you very much for coming across. I know Brian was so kind, really, to promote me in that way, because we're very different. Um, but yeah, it's lovely to have you here. So yeah, give me a purpose, helping me be more mindful. I think the third thing that I would say YouTube has done for me, it's helped me see things from different perspectives, because I think I've always been fairly kind of open minded and willing to look at other people's perspectives. Oaxaca, love it. I've got my nephews, actually. I know Mexico's a big country, but my nephew lives in La Paz. We've not been out to see him yet, but one day hopefully we will be. I don't know how far La Paz is from Oaxaca. I don't know. I think La Paz is quite high up, if I remember rightly. Um, it's definitely helped me to see things from different perspectives, and following people like Beautiful Life Sage and seeing your content and all of the other Gen Xers that I've been introduced to, really just in the last week, and realizing how similar a lot of our experiences are, but also how we may experience them differently, if that makes sense, has been lovely. And that I think YouTube being such a massive platform, you are able to listen to people who aren't necessarily censoring what they're putting out there, and in as much as it's not often, you're getting real stories from real people and their interpretation of their experience, without it having to be it's not dramatized. I think what I'm trying to get here is, with YouTube as opposed to TV, you're getting the real authentic people, so you're hearing different perspectives, and you're seeing different ideas from people from all over the world, which I just think it still blows my mind. Maybe I'm a little bit living in the dark ages with the whole sort of globalization of the internet and things. It still blows my mind that we've got people. I'm sat here in my spare bedroom in Lincolnshire in the UK, in England, and I'm talking to people in California and Mexico and all of these different places. I don't know, maybe maybe I'm a bit naive. It still blows my mind. But I do love the fact that we get different perspectives. Number 4, I guess, is the personal development. Both, I guess, the hard skills that I'm learning, things like video editing and videography, and how to use a camera. That's my brother's domain. He's great at that. I really struggle, and I still struggle now with all the settings. So although I've got my APS-C, sorry for the Micro Four Thirds people who might have come across, I have a Nikon Z30, or Nikon, I think you call it over the other side of the pond, and I love it. It's a vlogger camera, really. It's not a photographer's camera. It's got no viewfinder or anything. And it's a brilliant camera, and I love it, and I love the lens that I've got on it. It's not the lens that comes with it. It's a Viltrox 1.4 um 13 millimeter 1 point f1.4, and I love it, but I don't know how to use the damn thing properly. I have to go onto YouTube and find the settings that I'm meant to use every time. So although I've got it, I'm really not that good at it, but I'm learning, and I know so much more than I did a year ago about, editing, for example. I remember when I first looked at editing software, it was, good God, it was like reading the head-up display on a fast jet. It was just so, it looked so complicated with so many bits going on everywhere. And now I can sit down. I mean, I do use CapCut, which probably isn't the most complex of editing softwares, but I've managed to teach myself, with the help of YouTube, how to edit videos, how to do J cuts and L cuts and fade ins and fade outs. And I'm just starting to get into and trying to understand color grading and color correction. And so there's a lot of hard skills that I've learned. But also some of the softer skills, getting comfortable talking to nobody is a real skill. Getting comfortable being natural and being yourself and having conversations when there's nobody else in the room is a really hard skill. I think as well, just in terms of that sort of emotional intelligence, being able to feel comfortable to be a bit more authentic and let my guard down a little bit. That's another sort of skill that I've learned, and I think that's definitely spilling over into my business and also into my social life as well. I think it's built my confidence, and I've never been an underconfident person. I have to say, I've always been fairly confident and quite outgoing and quite comfortable talking to people, but I wouldn't say I've always been massively confident. At kind of the deeper level, at the surface level, I've been quite confident, but underneath, I don't know if anybody relates to that. But I definitely think getting more confident on camera and actually knowing where to look at the camera and all of that sort of thing has helped me to feel more confident, I think. So hard skills and soft skills, I think, have definitely improved. And I think they can only improve over time. And it's really interesting, actually. I think there's something that I think happens in midlife. And I don't know if it happens to men, let me know. But I think definitely for women, we hit that sort of midlife transition. We're hit with perimenopause and all stuff like that. And our confidence gets knocked. And our identity can sometimes start to get confused. We sometimes don't kind of know what our identity is anymore. And I think YouTube has helped me to kind of redefine my identity. And again, that probably sounds a little bit woolly and a little bit airy fairy, but I genuinely think it's helped me to just kind of redefine who I am and who I want to be going forward. And that's a big thing. And then the last couple of things I think that YouTube has done for me. I hope this is interesting. I hope you're not all falling asleep because I am waffling on a little bit. I think it's the fact that it's introduced me to a brand new network. Although we think of YouTube as an educational source, we think of it as a search engine, it is also a social network. And I think it's only really in the last week or so that I've really started to understand the power of the YouTube community. I'm just going to pull up some of the comments here. Beautiful Life Sage is saying, when we hear the viewpoints of others, it helps us to find parts of ourselves that maybe weren't yet uncovered. I 100% agree with that. And I think it's that saying, you can't read the label from inside the jar. Sometimes you have to see somebody else reflecting something back that you maybe haven't seen in yourself, and then you hear somebody else's perspective, and it helps you to kind of question your own experiences and your own interpretation of them. Um, Beautiful life sage is saying that was hard for me too. Being a teacher, I'm used to having a room of children. I'd rather talk to a camera with nobody in the room than talk to a room full of school children. I admire you very much for that. Um, if they have an opinion, aren't confident enough to share it. So coming to this platform is very different. It is, yeah. I teach, I don't teach children, but I've been teaching adults in sort of, in the corporate world for the last 15 years or so, probably more than that actually now, probably 16, 17 years. And it's very different standing up on stage or standing in a classroom and talking to a group of people. I have no problem at all standing up on stage and talking to a big, an auditorium full of people, and yet talking to a camera with, nobody on the other side of it. So you're not getting any energetic feedback. The camera doesn't give you any feedback. It is very, very different, really different. But I think, I don't know, what do you think? Just let me know. I keep wanting to call you Jen, and if I've got your name wrong, that's going to be very embarrassing. But feels a bit weird saying beautiful life sage every time. Um, I've forgotten what the question was I was going to ask there. No, it's gone. There's a midlife moment for you. But yes, going back to my point about creating or tapping into a brand new network, that's an element of YouTube that I was not expecting. I think when you look at things like LinkedIn and Instagram and Facebook, and you can DM people, that feels like an obvious place that you can connect and have conversations. And of course, YouTube hasn't got that facility, or if it has, I haven't yet found it. So you don't necessarily get that instant feedback. So it never really occurred to me that you could build a community in the same way that you can on other platforms. And yet I look at my brother's channel, and he's got a really solid community of subscribers and followers that, he's got to know them over time. And I know he's got a Patreon thing. Thank you, Jen. I didn't really want to call you by the wrong name. So yeah, I think that, the community aspect is brilliant. And one thing I did talk about when I'd posted my wobble video, that should I quit video, and then my follow-up video, the thank you, was that I would genuinely love to get a group of us Gen X creators together on StreamYard. I think I can do up to 10 guests at the same time and do a live stream, and also for my podcast, Generation Exceptional, where we get together and we talk about what YouTube has done for us, why we're choosing to use it. I think it would be a brilliant conversation, and another way to build that community, build that network. So, Jen, I really hope you'd be up for that. And if I can find a way to get in touch with everybody, I haven't figured out how to do that yet. I would love to make that happen and have that sort of group conversation, that group live. And final thing before I crack on with my glass of wine, give me a second, and head off down to get dinner. The final thing I think that YouTube has really done that's kind of changed my life, is it's really helping with my business. And although I'm not monetized on YouTube, and actually, I think that the whole 1,000 subscribers, 4,000 watch hours, AdSense, YouTube partner program sounds great, and it sounds like the goal. Actually, it's more the getting to the 1,000 subscribers than the monetization. That feels like the goal for me, because I don't think AdSense is ever going to really be a huge money spinner. Jen said she'd love to participate. Yes, we will make it happen. I haven't figured out yet how yet, but we will make it happen. Um, but how it is helping my business is it's given me loads of content, and it's really helped me think. So for anybody that doesn't know, I am a business coach and also I coach midlife women through sort of career change and things like that. Brilliant. I will email you. I didn't really think about sending emails out to people. That's a good idea. I will email you and we'll sort out a time that works for everybody. So yes, I'm a business coach, and basically I help predominantly coaches and wellness professionals to get into the corporate market and the corporate well-being space, because that's what I've done over the last 6 years. And what realistically, that's why I started this YouTube channel a year ago, was purely to support my business. And actually, it's interesting because I guess my passion, if that's not an overused word, for YouTube has gone beyond just the business stuff. I actually want to talk more about what it's like being a midlife entrepreneur, a woman, a Gen Xer in, entering this sort of second chapter of life, or third chapter, I guess you would call it. Your infancy, adulthood, and now we're going into this third chapter. As a neurodivergent, late diagnosed ADHD, that's what I really want to be talking about now, not just the business stuff. In fact, I'm not even sure if the business stuff might take a back seat. But what it's doing to help my business is really helping me understand what I want from my business going forward. Because I think one of the things I haven't really been marketing is the coaching side of it. I qualified as an International Coaching Federation accredited coach. That's a big long mouthful, with a company called One of Many, which specialize in coaching women predominantly. Some of the tools are used for men, but the coaching methodology is very much focused on women. And it's given me sort of probably 50 odd different tools that I can use to help women to feel more confident, to find more calm in their life, to change direction if they want to, so whether that's career change or going self-employed, or just any kind of big shift that they want to make in their life. The tools that I've got at my disposal are brilliant, and I've not really marketed that because I've always stuck more closely with the business coaching. So the whole YouTube thing has opened my eyes to maybe just pivoting away from business coaching more into supporting midlife women through this midlife transition. I taught about menopause and perimenopause for years, and I think bringing in that whole sort of the understanding that I have about that transition that we go through, and now more of an understanding around ADHD and how that shows up, and the limitations that can often bring with it, or the limiting beliefs. So from a business point of view, it's really helping me to kind of redefine where I want to take my business going forward. So all in all, I think this YouTube thing is probably I'm gonna hang around. I'm gonna stick it out, because I don't know. I just had such a wobble last week, and I felt like it was really just not worth the amount of effort. And yet, isn't it funny how what a difference a week can make? Because I'm in such a different place, mentally, psychologically, emotionally. I'm in such a different place this week to where I was last week, and it feels, I don't know, it's like it's invigorated me again, and it's given me the enthusiasm and the optimism to want to keep going with this. Jen saying, let's have a look. When you can talk about yourself, it brings validity to your coaching. I totally agree. People prefer, I believe, working with those who they're comfortable with. You're the expert in you. Absolutely, and I think we underestimate the power of personality, don't we? I think we worry so much about the people who won't like us that it stops us getting out there and doing the things we want to do, and almost, I guess, denying those who do like us the opportunity to find out who we are and what we can do. And I do think the one thing I've learned about YouTube more than anything is it's a giving platform. You have to give more than you take. You have to be of the mindset, I think, that it's value first, and anything you want back from it, you're only going to get if you lead from a place of service. And I know, again, that sounds a bit airy fairy and a bit, a bit idealistic, but I do think it's true. And I think if you authentically come from a place of what can I do with this platform to help other people, it will come back to you over time. So yes, I think it's a great outlet, I think, for expression, for being able to get creative and show up in a creative way. So I definitely am a fan. I think I'm going to stick around. And I think, gosh, with 36 minutes, and I didn't think I'd ever be able to talk. And here he is, my lovely brother, Brian. I was just talking about you, saying how kind it was of you to give me a bit of a boost on your video. Was it yesterday or the day before? But it's nothing to do with you arriving that I'm leaving, but I am going to wrap this up and say good night to everybody, or good afternoon to you, wherever you are in the world. Thank you very much for joining me. That's my, I think that's my third solo live stream now, and they're getting easier. I didn't ever think I could talk to myself for so long, but I seem to manage it quite well. So have a fabulous rest of the weekend, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me. And Jen, I will definitely drop you an email. Take care, everyone. Bye.